Okay, so this is a video on how to properly fill out the game cards. There are a lot of different ways for people to fill out cards, but we want to try and standardize it so that it's easy, we can report the score fast, and we can communicate relatively easily with league organizers and tournament organizers. The first thing when filling out the game card is to make sure that the team name is written on the card. So writing down blue or orange is not sufficient. When you hand this back to team organizers, they need to know what the team's actual name was. So in this case, we're going to say that the team's name is the Ravens. Now the next thing that we're going to have to write down is what field we're on. In this particular case, we're on field B. And the date might be June 21st, 2014. Now the top part of the card should be completed by the teams before they bring it to the huddle pregame. If they don't fill it out, you can either quickly fill it out for them or you can ask them to fill it out and bring it back. In either case, we need to have the team name written down, we need to know the date, and we need to know what field they were playing on. Next, captains. You'll like to write down the number of captains. There are only allowed to be 4 captains per squad, and a captain must be on the field during each play, and if not, it technically is a foul for delay of game. So when you get the captains, you'll ask them, they'll tell you the names, or rather the numbers of the captains, and all you do is write that down there. If you win the toss and you defer, that means you're going to be home. If you win the toss and you decide to take the ball and the other squad has choice second half, then the other squad will be home. So you'll mark home whoever has second choice. Now, as the game continues, and you can also signal it here, of course, if it's on the card. As the game continues, there may be timeouts. If a timeout is used, what you'll want to do is record what time and what quarter. So for example, second quarter, 38 seconds. And then you might say, again, it was the third quarter with 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And then the last timeout was the fourth quarter with 10 seconds remaining. So this way, if they ever have to ask you if they have any timeouts remaining, you can quickly refer to it. And if they don't remember using the timeout, you can remind them when they use the timeout. And usually that helps clear up any confusions. Now, when scores are made, cards have various different things here, like numbers and hash marks, but generally there's always going to be 3 boxes. So what we like to do is use those 3 boxes in the following way. The first box is for touchdowns, the second box is for converts, and the last box is for your total score. So when you have your very first score of the game, you say, I've got a touchdown, number 88, scored the touchdown, that's 6 points. Now they're going to go for a 1-point convert. It was unsuccessful, so we'll write down 0, the total score is 6. Then there's another touchdown. Number 2 scored that touchdown. That's going to be 6 more points, so that's going to make it 12. They're going to go for a 2-point convert. In this case, it's successful. 2-point convert is good. The total is 14. Then they record a safety. So we're going to write down safety. That's going to be 2 points. And now we're at 16. And now maybe there's a rouge. We can say a rouge. That's 1 point. And now the score is 17. And of course, if there's another touchdown, that'll be by number 4. They scored 6 more points. So you've got 17 plus 6 is 23. They went for a single point convert and they did not get it. It's a 0. This total is 23. Now let's assume you wrote down the touchdown and you said, okay, they scored again. And now we have 29. So we added 6 points to 23 and we have 29. Well, let's imagine that we forgot to write down whether or not the convert was good or not. Well, the next time we pull out our card, we're going to have a blank box. If you write down a 0, it means they didn't get the convert. If you write down a 1, that means it was a 1 point. If you write down a 2, it's a 2 point. But if it's empty, it means you don't have it. So you'll confirm with the other officials. You'll get that clarified. No, they didn't get it. Okay, so it's a 0 and it's 29. When the game is over, it's imperative that the score is written down. In this case, the Ravens are the home team, so they've got 29 points. And the visiting squad, that would be on the other card. And so you'll record it here, and you'll say the other team got 14, and therefore this is a victory for the Ravens. And make it clear, at a tournament, there's a lot that needs to be done. And the last thing organizers want to do is try to figure out when looking at the card whether or not the team won or lost. They're looking at the Ravens card, then they're looking at the Trojans card, and then they're trying to figure out, well, who won, who didn't, which game was it, and it gets confusing. So make it simple. The score is 29-14 for the Ravens, and they won. And this way, things will be very easy. And notice how quick and easy it will be to report the score. On this side here, notice that in tournaments, game cards are pre-printed. If you have a handwritten card, it is not to be accepted. So if they bring you a handwritten card, you give it back, you tell them to contact TFONT, and that they must have a TFONT printed card in order to submit that game card at the end. That is because TFONT has already approved the roster, and this makes sure there are no roster changes. So you must make sure in a tournament that it's the printed format with their names. Okay, so we're not yet done. Let's talk about the back of the card. Far too often the back of the card is not filled out. We have to take the time, and the time to do this is at the coin toss. It's definitely necessary. So the first thing we're going to do is identify who's on the crew. Now you can do this with name, with the number and an association, or you can give everything. So for example, you can say the head ref is number 84. His name is C. Olmus, and he's from HTFOA. Then we might say that another person is number 20, and his name is P. Stones. Or you might leave it the last guy, he should have a number, but for whatever reason he doesn't. And you might say the last guy is E. Smith. This is important because league organizers need to know who was actually officiating that game, just in case there are any issues and they have to talk to the officials. Now, let's discuss fouls. If we get a foul, and that foul is a objectionable conduct, a major foul, or an unnecessary roughness, it must be recorded on the card. It doesn't matter whether or not you think this person should be punished or not punished. You must record accurately what's happening on the field because team organizers deserve to know what's happening on the field, and they're paying us to report that information back to them. So we're going to report what happens on the field. So in this case, we're going to have an objectionable conduct, and that was done by number 5. So we're going to write in the back, we have objectionable conduct, number 5. Write down his number, objectionable conduct. And it's as simple as that. There's nothing hard about this, and it at least clarifies what the foul is. Now, if we get an intent to injure, that's a major foul. So let's say that number 25 made an attempt to injure a player. So on the back of the card, what you're going to do is you're going to write number 25, major foul, and he was disqualified. Now, at the end of the day, typically a game card will look like this, and you can make comments. Number 5, OC for chirping to opponent. And that's sufficient. So now league organizers know he wasn't yelling at an official, or she wasn't yelling at an official, but instead they were yelling at an opponent. If they were yelling at an official, then you would write OC, abuse of official. Very simple. Don't need a lot of information. Now, in this case, there's a disqualification, so we might want to say number 25 threw and landed a punch. Now, we know that you're writing this on the field, and the writing's not going to be the most accurate, which is what I'm trying to reflect here. But at least you've got some information that will jog your memory if it comes up. So in this case, this game card is completed properly. You'll notice the front of it has the team name, the date, and what field they're on. That's important. It must be done. We also have recorded the score accurately, and we have a running tally. And this is more important than knowing who scored the touchdown. Knowing who scored the touchdown is not as important as knowing when the touchdown occurred and whether or not the extra point was successful and whether or not there was a rouge or a safety. Finally, it's very important to record on the card whether or not they won or lost and what the final score was. We flip it over and we can see if there were game issues. In this case, we had 2 issues with the Ravens. We had an OC for chirping to an opponent, and we had a major foul and a disqualification for throwing and landing a punch to an opponent. This is how we will be filling out the game cards. I hope everybody understands this and starts using it this tournament. And finally, I want to make this point extremely clear. It is absolutely imperative at a tournament that the game cards, the score is submitted before the start of the next game. We cannot start the next game until the score from the previous game has been reported. It is absolutely imperative. It is also absolutely crucial that the score of the game and the field and the team name is on the card. We'll have to take some time and make sure this is done. And so long as we do everything right, I'm sure we'll have no problems with leagues or tournament organizers.